I'm back. Well, wanted to make sure at least I got up here twice. So yesterday it was just Licenti. Had to have a little bit of stage time. Have you enjoyed everything? Yes. Have you feel a little bit of renewal inside? Yes. Have you reset your goals? Are you believing that 2018 is going to be a huge year? I know for me, I probably haven't been anywhere near as excited as what I am right now in my career with Jeunesse. And I started back in 2012. I'm pretty excited at the moment. Pretty excited. I wasn't excited as much with last year. Last year was a tough year. Did you have a bit of a tough year last year? Well, you know, this is my 31st year in network marketing, and I've kind of worked out that when you look at this industry, it's never just constant growth, everything all the same. You go through those ups and downs, you know, in your own business. But on average, for me, about every fifth or sixth year was a really tough year that challenged my belief in the industry. You know, that really made me look at myself and say, how badly do I want this? Am I willing to work with just as much belief and just as much tenacity under pressure than when it's easy? You know, a lot of people build in this industry when everything's easy. You know, that's why so many people love to jump and go to whatever's the newest company that launches, and because they think that it's going to be easier. And last year was one of those years. You know, sometimes it might be because the value of currency drops and the cost of products increase, or whatever else it might be. But last year we had this combination of really intense competition in the marketplace. We had a lot of companies that were coming in. Now, when you have a lot of new companies launching, what do those networkers want to do? They want to go out and enroll networkers. And so when they start putting together their list, what do they look at? Who are some of the most successful networkers with some of the most successful companies? More Jeunesse people were put on someone's list last year to be approached by other companies than ever before. That was a lot of competition, a lot of pressure. Now, I welcome that. That's all part of the industry. But then we had, you know, the phenomenon of cryptocurrency. And this was something that came into our industry through over 100 different Ponzi's and scams that started all around the world. And lots of people decided, here's a way that I can get success quick. I don't have to pay the price. Any dummy can do it. It's going to be easy to enroll other dummies, and I'm going to make lots of money. I might be sounding a little bit facetious, but that's exactly what happened last year. Now, what's happened to cryptocurrency now? You know, those Ponzi's, those crypto scams are virtually all gone. All in the space of months. And, you know, I was very passionate trying to educate, you know, people out there in the population to beware, because these weren't competing companies, they weren't networks. You know, these were companies that were just flat out illegal and scary. And now we have situations not only here but all around the world where networkers that left from all companies, from Amway to Jeunesse and everything else, have lost in total billions of dollars in the space of just a few months. And the sad thing right now is that the pain that is causing people is really becoming apparent now in the public. I heard for the first time, just talking with someone 2 weeks ago, that there was the first crypto suicide that I'm aware of through these Ponzi's that took place on the Gold Coast just a couple of weeks ago. Sad. Why? Because people were harassing that couple to get their money back. You promised us this would work. Phone calls at all hours of the night. And sadly, the wife couldn't handle that pressure and she took her own life, which I think is really sad. Now, for me, I wake up every morning believing and knowing that I'm the luckiest guy alive. I love this industry. It's been my life for 31 years. People have always heard me say, you know what? I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm not doing it for the money. I have plenty. I'm happy. I'm doing it because I love it. I love the journey. I love sharing other people's journeys. And the minute I stop enjoying it, then I will take things a little bit easy. I didn't build in this industry because I wanted fast. I didn't build in this industry because I wanted fancy. I didn't build in this industry because I wanted the flavour of the month. I did build this industry because I wanted strong, and I wanted something that I could be proud of. I wanted something that would make a difference for not only the people building, but the next generation, their kids. Something that really had longevity. And that's why I'm still here at Jeunesse, and I ain't going anywhere soon. So, 2017 was a hard year. 2018 is going to be a great year. And I've no doubt that 2019 will be awesome. Will there be a tough year in the future? Absolutely. But you go through that tough year. The mark of a good leader is someone who can build not only when it's convenient, but also when it's challenging. Can you be that leader? The people that you want to enroll are looking for someone like that. So guys, what I want to do is to take you through how you can become your best in this industry. You've got to go 10 out of 10. Now this is a little bit of a self-checklist. You can go through this yourself and have a look at these different points, but if you want to be your best, you've got to go 10 from 10. Can you do that? Now the great thing is that all of the different speakers that have gone before me, they've kind of emphasised a lot of these 10 points themselves during their presentations. Some of this is going to be repetitive, but we're going to go through it anyway. Firstly, you've got to believe. Can you be a believer? This is where everything starts from. Believing is having that mindset that you can do this before you even know how to do this. Believing is where you're submitting 100%. You're not giving in to doubt. You're not giving in, to challenges. So let's have a look at some of these things. You heard Susan Land talk about mindset. Guys, you've got to have that right mindset, as I kind of just mentioned. You can always learn what you don't know. And that's what this industry is all about. You do not have to already have personal growth to start. Personal growth will take place as you're building the business. And what you don't know now, you will learn and pick up as you go. You've seen so many fantastic examples of how that takes place. And you have to believe that you're on the right journey, but there will be challenges, there will be stumbles along the way. But you stay in that right mindset of believing. Can you do that? Now, we've had a few examples during the last 2 days of sporting examples. Who loves sport? Yes. Well done, Chris. I knew you loved sport. Who loves basketball? Yes. Oh my God! For the rest of you, you're going to be in really out of luck with this presentation. I can tell you. I want to show you a bit of an example. This guy's name is Steph Curry. Now, Steph Curry's a basketballer. He plays for the Golden State Warriors. This was his scouting reports. He's gone through college, and this was his scouting report. All the clubs are looking at who they're trying to pick up, in the draft, who's going to make a big difference within the team, and it was all pretty negative. Basically, this guy was scrawny. He wasn't muscly. He was too short. He was seen to be too gentle. He was seen to be a one-trick pony who could just shoot from a long way away from the basket and really shouldn't be considered throughout the draft. Now, I'm going to show you a little video about Steph Curry.
Steph Curry with the shot. 0 to 100.
Stephen Curry, 6'3", 185 pounds, position, point guard. Stephen's explosiveness and athleticism are below standard. He's not a great finisher around the basket. He needs to considerably improve as a ball handler. Often struggles against physical defenders. Stephen must develop as a point guard in order to make it in the league. He will have limited success at the next level. Do not rely on him to run your team.
My actions being louder than my words. 0 to 100.
Pretty incredible. Now, if you read that about yourself as a network marketer, would you quit? The one thing that Stephen Curry didn't do was he didn't believe any of that. In fact, he didn't believe it so strongly, he decided that he was going to go all the way to the top. That was his real rocket fuel to go somewhere. And he turned himself into probably the greatest shooting basketballer that we've seen, in the last few decades. Sure, he wasn't big. So he perfected his art of shooting those threes, became the most skilled three-point shooter in the league. He won the first championship for the Golden State Warriors for decades. And he landed one of the biggest basketball contracts in history. His payday was $250 million. That was his contract. And in fact, during his time on the way to the Golden State Warriors' first championship in a number of years, his plus-minus ratio, like the performance of the team, was higher than any of the hundreds of players in the NBA during that year. He became the absolute very, very best. I love his quote here: make sure you live in the moment and work your butt off every single day, and I hope I inspire people all around the world to be themselves, to be humble and be grateful for all the blessings in life. I'm truly honoured to be your most valuable player this year, Stephen Curry. You can be your own MVP in this industry, guys. It doesn't matter if you're a bit different. It doesn't matter if you don't have the skills now that other people think you need to have to be great. You've just got to believe that you're going to get there. Number 2 is maximum participation. Number 2 out of 10, maximum participation. Guys, hard work beats talent every single time. I should have borrowed the Kevin Durant quote, then I could have pinched that from your presentation, Ange. You've got to get in the game. You've got to be that person that's just tenacious, that always wants to be on the field, that always is prepared to work hard, that always believes that effort outscores talent. One of my most inspiring people that I've ever met was Susan. Susan, to begin with, when she started in this industry, didn't have a lot of talent. And a lot of people told her that. But she did believe, and she was prepared to work really hard, and I don't think I've seen anyone work as hard as this lady. So she deserves every bit of success that she's had. I want to introduce you to a few Aussies that are in the NBA in the United States. Who's heard of Matthew Dellavedova? Well, I tell you what, those who haven't will soon, because there's a movie being made about this guy, and he's still in the NBA, and he's still alive today. His story is so incredible. Now, Matthew Dellavedova grew up here in Victoria in a small town called Maryborough, about 7,000 people, and his dream was to go to the NBA. Worked his way up through the Australian ranks, was able to try out for a few teams in the United States, and he had an option to try for the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of the biggest and most popular teams in the United States. But he was told by the coach at the time, David Blatt, that it was unlikely he's going to make it on the team. But he's able to try, and during the trial process, he picked the best players on the team and hounded and harassed and defended them like his life depended on it. And so the coach is watching Matthew Dellavedova go like crazy from one end of the court to the other end of the court, defending Kyrie Irving, the best guard on that team, like an animal. And what happened within the team is that all of his teammates started to love this guy. They loved his attitude, his work ethic. And they loved him so much because they loved playing with him. They hated playing against him. This guy was just relentless. He made his way onto the team. And during that process, playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, there were 1 or 2 injuries, and he made it into the starting lineup with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And here was this young guy from Maryborough, Victoria, now sitting next to LeBron James, the king of basketball in the United States, teammate, starting 5, and was part of the team that won the first championship for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the United States. Pretty incredible. Let me show you a little bit of footage of Matthew Dellavedova.
restricted free agent Matthew Dellavedova.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Matt Dellavedova. What about when it's a commercial break and you guys take your headsets off? Are you looking at each other saying, who is this guy?
Hawes, guarded by Holt. Tyler Hawes. 2.5 on the clock. Dellavedova for the win. Gales win it. The officials are sending him back to the other side of the floor. Matthew Dellavedova.
This is my guy, this is my teammate, this is the guy that goes out and works his tail off every single night. And people are trying to give him a bad rap, and he doesn't deserve it, and I don't like it.
But he is perfect for this town. He's tough, he's gritty.
Before Delhi was even on the radar, he's obsessed with Delhi.
Work made Matthew's dreams possible. It wasn't so much talent. He certainly had belief. Hard work made his goals and dreams possible. Sure, a little bit of luck along the way. During that grand final series, he played so hard, so he had to be on a drip during some of that series. He was so dehydrated, but he helped win that first championship for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, he was recognised in the NBA. And when his contract was up, he landed a contract for $60 million. And that was his first big contract in the NBA. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Guys, next point is have goals that are combined with a plan. You know, so many people have goals but have no plan. That's just wishful thinking. Things are never going to work out the way that you want. But having goals matched by a functional plan to see that mission through is the first positive step in those goals becoming possible to achieve. You know, with a plan, you can always reassess as you build. You can change things on the run. You have to be someone that's organised, taking this industry really seriously. I love this one. Consistency. Have you seen people that are consistent in this industry? They're diamonds, they're emeralds, they're rubies, they're the stars of the future. Consistency is what most people lack. A lot of times people believe, a lot of times people have a plan, but they're just not consistent. Their belief and their plan might be on one day and off the next. So this is absolutely the core key. This is where you have control over your future in the industry. It's probably the greatest influence between what level of results that you're getting. My name is consistency, so I'm related to success. We should hang out more than once in a while. This is consistency. You know, how many people don't do this? These are all things that don't require any talent, don't require any skill, but you need to be this each and every day. Can you be coachable, guys? Man, this is a terrible issue in this industry. A lot of people want personal growth, but they want the spotlight. They crave the recognition. They want the me. Being coachable is beneath them. Now, who was the greatest basketballer of all time? Michael Jordan. My best skill, above all of his talent, was the fact that I was coachable, I was a sponge and aggressive to learn. This is the best leverage to success. This is one thing that shows you that you have a level of humility to be able to get better at this industry by learning from people you see that have done and achieved what you want to achieve. You have to be that voracious learner. And if you can become coachable, you know what happens? You become a great coach to other people. Is that important for you to be your best in this industry? Big time. You've got to embrace the process, guys. This is a process. You have to be patient. Success is always going to take time. Ask yourself, is time going to be a deciding factor? Who here wants to be a diamond? Everyone? That was an easy question. Now, if you want to be diamond, who here will be thrilled if you become a diamond in 1 year? Come on, that's an easy question too. Who would be thrilled if you become a diamond even in 5 years? If you think about the level of income that you earn as a diamond in Jeunesse, and even if it takes 10 years, it's still absolutely awesome. Yet, for many people, the number one reason they quit is because of time. It's taking too long. Guys, this is one of the 10 out of 10s here. You've got to not let time be a deciding factor, because you will only fail here when you choose to walk away and quit. You'll be far more productive and far more successful if you embrace the process. Who's ever heard of the term, you've got to enjoy the journey? You know, these things actually are true. Another basketball story that's actually referred to the process. Do you know who the worst team in the NBA has been over the last 20 odd years? The Philadelphia 76ers. Boy, oh boy, you'd hate to go for that team. They've had the worst losing record. You know, over a period of 4 years, they only won between 10 to 20 odd games out of the 82 that they had to play in the year. How are you going to turn that around? Well, they kind of embraced the process. They knew it would take time to turn this team around, and they stayed patient. They found the right coach. Who recognises this guy? He has a little bit of a Melbourne flavour here. His name's Brett Brown. He was an American who came to Australia to start to learn his basketball skills as a coach. He started off as an assistant coach, became the head coach of the North Melbourne Giants, won a championship with the North Melbourne Giants. His career stepped up a bit. He now became the Australian coach. His career stepped up a bit. He was welcomed into the NBA and became the assistant coach, now being coached again by another coach, for the San Antonio Spurs, for one of the best coaches in history, Greg Popovich. He spent years there under his tutelage. Then he was offered a role to be able to coach the worst team in the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers. Greg Popovich thought he was crazy. He said, no way could I coach that team. But I know Brett Brown is going to love it, and he's going to make a huge, big difference. So he took on that role with the Philadelphia 76ers. And even though it was slim pickings, that team this year is now a red-hot chance to win the NBA championship. He's only been there a couple of years. He's respected the process. I'll come back and add a bit more to that story in just a minute. You've got to have confident prospecting. You've got to be able to hunt as well as fish. Now, what I mean by fishing, people love to just cast out a net, send out texts and Facebook and social media and all the rest, and they love to be able to see what random people are going to come back to them that they can start to talk to. But hunting is looking at who's going to be successful in network marketing and directly go out talking and wanting to introduce yourself to the very people that are more likely to build a business. It's harder, it's more challenging, but a lot of people want the easy over doing the harder options. Have a balance between hunting and fishing. Target great people. Favour voice over text or social media. Yes, that has a place, but this is a relationship industry. Get personal with the very people that you want to enroll. The best people in this industry enroll with those they respect. That can happen through building a relationship. Be tenacious. The fact that Emily Fu went back to Amy repeatedly ended up getting her an enrolment with someone that's changed her business. Be tenacious. Do you believe that one enrolment can change everything? That's what Jeunesse is all about. One enrolment can absolutely change everything. Well, part of that process in Philadelphia was being able to confidently prospect the right players for that team. They had their eye on a couple of key players, a tall centre by the name of Joel Embiid from Cameroon and an Aussie from Melbourne, Ben Simmons. They got Ben Simmons. That was the player they were after. And Ben Simmons is now being touted as potentially the greatest basketballer of modern times. Just with the addition of this one player, Philadelphia 76ers has gone from a laughingstock to a team that's beating everyone in the NBA. Let's have a little bit of a look at this guy from Melbourne.
Ellington for three. Simmons, nice look for Redick. It's for three. Got it. Wow, what a pass by Ben Simmons.
Look at here. Here's the pass from Bellinelli. You can see Ben, as soon as he gets it, looking opposite court.
Sixer lead reduced to 2. Nice. Simmons breaking through all the way to the cup. Ben Simmons' his first bucket. For the 7th and 8th times already.
Ooh, look at the little split of the double team. Olynyk coming out there trying to show, but Ben, putting it between his legs. Don't be so mean, 2-5.
Olynyk knocked it into the backcourt. Time running out for Ben Simmons. Got it all. And in! Simmons, his second bucket.
Ben Simmons has been touted as being the next Magic Johnson of basketball, and he is an Aussie doing amazing things. Had more triple doubles in the first year of his career than virtually any other basketballer in history. Can you be a team player? Another one of my top 10. You've got to be a team player. So many people struggle with this. You know, I'll make every effort to get along with someone that I don't like for the sake of protecting the team. Yet so many people get stubborn and ruin a team environment simply because they don't like someone. Networking is a team sport. If you can't perform as a good team member, you're not going to be your best in this industry. People are more productive than individuals. Team creates time leverage. I know myself that if I can help to create great team members within my group together, my goals are a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more possible than me doing everything on my own, wanting the spotlight. But also too, if you want to enroll people, some of the best enrollments within my group are people who didn't want to enroll necessarily with me, but they wanted to enroll and be part of my team. So team is crucial. I want to introduce you to another Aussie, staying on the basketball theme and netball, one of the greatest sports in the world. This is Joe Ingles and his beautiful wife, Renee. Renee was a decorated Australian netballer, 50 tests. And she made the heartbreaking decision, one of the toughest but most rewarding decisions of her life, to let her career go to be a great team member to her husband, Joe, that was wanting to start his career potentially being a success in the NBA. They packed their bags and went to America. He had the opportunity to trial with the LA Clippers. At the time, this is one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And at the end of his trial period, he was cut from the team. Renee describes this quote here: "My heart hurt for him knowing he had worked, how hard he'd worked for this opportunity." Says Renee, who retired last summer after a decorated pro career in netball, which Joe describes as a weird Australian sport, kind of like basketball without the dribbling. She's flying back to Australia in tears, knowing how hurt Joe was. The very next day, Joe got a little lifeline, a call from the Utah Jazz to come and also trial with that team. So he had the opportunity to trial with the Utah Jazz, and he made the team. But he was told that there would be limited court time. He would unlikely be playing, but would be in the roster. He was such a great team member and loved by the team that he made his way into having moderate court time. His performances increased and improved so much that he started to get regular court time. In fact, he got a real profile in Salt Lake City as someone that didn't even look like a basketballer. He's the wrong colour, he's got a receding hairline, he's skinny, and so he was made fun of. He was told that he's not a basketballer, he's an accountant, he is a school teacher, but definitely not a basketballer. His nickname became Average Joe. He was also called Slow-Mo Joe because on the court, everything seemed to happen in slow motion. Would you like to see what he'd look like as a network marketer? That was a bit mean. That was a bit mean. But the thing about Joe Ingles was that the greatest attribute he was being a great teammate. This got him into the starting lineup of the team. And over the last 2 years, he's been the hottest three-point shooter in the United States in the NBA. He shoots around 44% from the three-point line, and he's been absolutely killing it. His performances have been so great, he's even become possibly the greatest shooter in Utah Jazz history. But have a look at the quote from the coach, Quinn Snyder. There are certain players that when they are on the floor make the whole greater than the sum of the parts. Jazz coach Quinn Snyder says, Joe Ingles, that part has gotten better. And then Joe Ingles, a teammate, makes other people better. There just hasn't been anything that he's not been willing to do for the team. That's where he's found his game. He's found his game making the team better when he's on the floor. The thing that he's been able to do to make the team better have continued to multiply. The Utah Jazz were never ever meant to make the finals this year. They've not only made the finals, they've knocked out the Oklahoma Thunder about 30 minutes ago out of the competition. And within that team consists of three of the absolute best, highest paid individuals within the NBA. The Utah Jazz is just made up of ordinary guys that are fantastic teammates. You see the importance of being a great teammate? Now, this clip kind of gives me goosebumps. This is in Salt Lake City, Utah, a few days ago. Have a look what Slow-Mo Joe, Average Joe, did for the Utah Jazz.
We welcome you to Salt Lake City, the continuation of this Western Conference showdown. The Utah Jazz have the upper hand on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The NBA playoffs on TNT Round 1 presented by Hulu. It's the 4-5 matchup in the West. And Utah leading this best-of-7 series 2-1. Look at the Western Conference playoff picture. Houston now up 3-1. New Orleans has advanced, and Golden State trying to close it out against San Antonio. Welcome courtside, everybody. 5-2, Oklahoma City, blocked by Ingles. George couldn't get a clean look. Ingles contributed 21 points in the Game 3 victory. Ingles to Gobert, and another stuff. Rudy Gobert walks the rim on a setup by the offseason. Oklahoma City a 7-point lead. Ingles lobs it up, Favors the catch. Favors throws it down. The assist. Thunder up by 2. Rubio to the corner. Ingles, it's a 3. Ingles the drive and dish. Ingles delivers. George and Ingles continue to go at it by Rubio. 10-second different shot clock to game clock. Ingles, hot hand. Yes! Ingles drives. Gobert back for Ingles. 10 to shoot. Rubio a three. Count it. The Spanish Samurai from long range. O'Neal on a kick. Mitchell to Ingles. Three on the way. Bottom.
The crowd was going absolutely nuts, and he's done that not just in that game, but in every single game of that best of 7 series. So here's to Average Joe. Now, when you think of the teamwork, I always like to go back to how it started. What if his wife, Renee, was not a good teammate? None of that was possible. The great thing for Slow-Mo Joe, only just scraping into the team, the Utah Jazz opened up their checkbook and asked him to stay for another 4 years and paid him $70 million. So here's to Renee Hallinan on being a fantastic teammate and to Joe Ingles. Guys, you've got to commit to excellence. You've got to be the very best that you can be in this industry. You want to be someone that just wants to keep getting better. I've seen people up on stage here that I think, my God, I think of what they were like a few years ago and what they are now. They've just got so much better. How many people think that Susan Land got better up here on stage? Wasn't she amazing? How many people thought that Angela Licenti, that was the best presentation you ever saw? Well, at least one, Angela. This is what this industry is all about. Crave wanting to get better. To get better, you've got to do the basics really well. All those little things. Put people first. Value those relationships that in the future will be the very thing that will depend on how successful you're going to be. Can you be a passionate professional? So many people think this industry is a joke. Don't you think that this industry is a joke? You be that passionate professional. Excellence isn't a once a week or once a year ideal. Can it be constant? Last one, number 10. Can you be a hero? Now, this might sound a little bit conceited, but it's important. We need more network marketing heroes. You need to be that type of person that will set the standard. You will need to be that person that can be a champion building this business on the toughest of days. Attraction marketing that we hear all about, that all starts from the evidence of your actions. Be the person that you would want to be enrolled by. Guys, this industry is hard. And the one thing that I've learned over my time in this industry is that I keep enrolling better people, the better I become. Do you believe that? If you get better, you'll start enrolling better people. Because there are so many people out there that are craving someone that they can believe in. There are so many people out there that are craving to be inspired. There are so many people out there that fear that this industry is hard, but they're looking for a hero. Can you be that hero? If you can be that hero, guys, then diamonds are inevitable. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed this convention.